influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope Show. Got a great show with you on for tonight here. Rich Ferris will be in from Cumulus Radio, the Titans flagship. He'll be here about 30 minutes or so past the hour. We're going to get his update. Titans, one of the busiest teams at the cut deadline. It sounded like a trade deadline to them. They've made two big trades here. One this afternoon. I was more shocked by this one from the Rams' perspective than I was from the other trade with Malik Willis. So I'll talk about that. Of course, CeeDee Lamb. Boy, I tell you, I nailed this bad boy just about on the head. I've got a soundbite to prove it. He signed a big deal to stay with the Dallas Cowboys here. Also, got other NFL news and notes. A lot going on here, so stand by. Let's take our first and only break. Go through a few announcements. Then I'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports and host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. You're watching the sharp-dressed man and the big story breaker, Robert Butler, on Sports Scope, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Streaming Sports. Thanks. To get the National Streaming Sports channel on your Roku TV, channel search National Streaming Sports. There's the channel search in Roku. There's our logo right on the right, NESSP. Tap on the logo, and it will add to your TV, the channel to your TV. On your laptop, tablet, and mobile phone, download the free Roku app and channel search just like above. If you don't have Roku TV, you have to order a Roku device from the Roku store, hook it up to your smart TV, and bang, you have Roku TV. Again, channel search, National Streaming Sports. Click on our NESSP logo and add the channel.
All righty then. Big story out of Dallas here. CeeDee Lamb, 4 years, 136, signed an extension here. And to stay with the Cowboys, that is a big, good scope for me. One of those I told you so. It seems like Jerry Jones simply wanted this to drag out, risking a possible hamstring injury. For Lamb missing most of camp, he's got about 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. I mean, I want to say they play next Sunday. Well, they might be Monday night, but I believe it's Sunday for Dallas. And just to get all the free media attention, it's just one of the reasons why the Dallas Cowboys are worth $10 billion. Yes, that's $10 billion with the B. He found ways to market this team. Whether they're going to win a Super Bowl or not, that's a different question, a different scenario. But that's a whole different story. Excuse me, I misspoke there. So anyways, listen to what I said when he missed mandatory minicamp back in June 5th. This is from June 5th's program talking about CeeDee Lamb
as an option. And of course, what I'm saying is what I would do, what we already know Jerry Jones is going to do. They're going to pay this guy $34 to $35 million. They're going to pay CeeDee Lamb. I think he could probably get extended before training camp.
Well, I wasn't right about that before the season. The exact number was 34. He signs for 4 years. Cowboys wanted 5. He wanted 3. Lamb is very confident that he can go ahead and break the bank. Go ahead, do a 3-year, get the 30 plus for 3. Go back to the apple cart again before he's 30 and sign one for possibly $40 million with this receiver bubble. And I think that this receiver bubble is just that. It's going to pop. And at some point, these teams are going to have to – somebody's going to have to make this move. Now, the Kansas City, you can make the point, that they've already done it. But technically they did win a Super Bowl with Hill, but they won 2 without him. But somebody somewhere is eventually going to make that move. Could it be the 49ers? Something came out today that if they sign Brandon Ayuk along with Brock Purdy with the extensions, they will be about $36 million over the cap next year, the 49ers. So it just goes to show you that it's really a gamble paying this kind of money for a player. Now, I've also said before that I do believe that I do simply believe that this thing is going to blow over. It's going to bust there. Also today, something came out about Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is going to play. He's at a hold-in. See the difference? Jerry Jones, everybody knows Jerry is going to pay. He paid Zeke Elliott. They paid Zach Martin. Paid Zeke Elliott way too soon. They paid Dak Prescott a couple of times. They're going to pay you. You name a player that Jerry Jones drafts, and it's very seldom that they let a star player go. They played DeMarco Murray once. I was surprised they let him go the second time. But if it's his guy, he's going to pay him because he wants to let everybody know that he's done well. And quite frankly, yeah, these players have turned out to be good. It's the highest quarterback rating, the best quarterback wide receiver combo in the league, is what I heard today out of CeeDee Lamb. And, of course, the next up would be obviously Dak Prescott, which is going to be probably about $60 million here. So it's but, again, the difference is Mike Brown, hardline guy. Carson Palmer pushed years ago to get traded, and he drew a line in the sand, and it went on for about a year or so. And he finally traded him, but he traded him to the Raiders. Palmer retires. Raiders finally deal him. He ends up going to the Arizona, finishing out his career, getting to an NFC championship game back in 2015, if you all recall. So I guess Chase is looking at that and saying, this is a hard-line guy. He will let you sit as Cord Dillon, going back to there. So, of course, Cincinnati wide receiver is expected to play the season opener, according to Zach Taylor. And I said this the other day. I said it a couple weeks ago that Cincinnati could get a haul for him. Jermaine Burton has been probably the hottest rookie wide receiver in camp this year. To be honest with you, they've already got T. Higgins. Now he's playing on the last of his deal there as well. So would you extend Purden and Higgins for a little bit less, or Jamar Chase? I feel like they should have paid one of them and moved the other one by now. My guess is they'll probably end up working out something, all simply just to keep Joe Burrow happy, in my opinion. And I'm glad, and I'm glad that Chase listened to my advice. It may have not been specifically me, but I did get a lot of views. I paid for an advertisement on that one. I got about 30,000 views on that opinion on Jamar Chase on the X out. But you got a shot at a Super Bowl, man. You know, in their case, they have a shot at a Super Bowl. Go ahead, play it out. You know, you might not get a $33, $34 million one this year. Maybe you get closer to 36 in a year or so. And, of course, then he can get hurt. I understand all that. But just, I don't know. If you're happy and you're playing with a good quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, them three particularly, you know, back in the day, Brady, whatever, Brady, Peyton Manning, and you're happy with your situation, you're happy in the town, you're in the playoffs every year, just play the contract out, man. If you think about getting hurt, you'll get hurt. If you try, and that's the old adage in the NFL, if you're trying not to get hurt by blowing off, hitting in camp and all that, then you hear this term, soft tissue injuries, you know. But if you're taking care of yourself and you're in great shape, I don't ever remember Jerry Rice holding out. Now, of course, the NFL wasn't covered extensively the way it is now, but maybe he did, and we just didn't hear about it. You know, we're talking 25, 30 plus years ago with Rice. I think he was drafted in like 85 originally, you know. But if you're playing with these marquee quarterbacks, you're in a good situation. I don't care what my agent says. I'll tell my agent, hey, look, man, you work for me. I don't like to get in out of shape. And that's my thing about Lamb. What if he comes in and has a hamstring injury because he's not quite in football shape yet? You know, he's pressing hard next week, getting ready for week one. He's week to week with the hamstring injury or a calf that can really drag out. And then, you know, then you're stuck. Then you're stuck there. You got Ferguson, and then you got Cooks to throw to. So it's something to monitor. Again, this is no real breaking news to me. I knew Jerry Jones would do it. I knew they would drag it out so they can get the free media attention. And ultimately, that was one of those I told you so. All righty then. So staying in the NFC East, the Eagles over the weekend, folks, trade in division. These new general managers. These guys are all around my age, mid-40s. This is a whole new crop. You're starting to see the last 5 to 7 years, you're starting to see some unorthodox things, more big trade deadline moves. You're getting guys like major cornerbacks traded. I want to say, who was it there? Pass rusher there out of Denver was traded to the he was traded to the Rams there and ended up helping them get over to the Super Bowl. That's big. That's big in the NBA, big in Major League Baseball. You just don't see stuff like that in the NFL, but it's what happened. You know, it's what is happening now. And now there used to be another kind of an unwritten rule. You don't really trade within your division there. Okay. You don't trade within your division, but now you've got guys like, I mentioned this a little while back, TJ Hawkinson, a tight end coming in his prime, Pro Bowl level, trading inside the division there with the Detroit Lions. Of course, Lions end up getting Sam Laporta. They knew what they're doing. And Hawkinson, he's hurt right now. I think he's going to actually start off on the he's going to end up starting off on the injured reserve. But Von Miller's, who I was trying to think of earlier there, he was traded midseason. So all this stuff, this is new age stuff. General managers trading in the vision. Johan Dotson was a former first-round pick in 2022, and they traded this. This guy's a legit 3 receiver here. Traded him from Washington to the Eagles. Now, he's a Penn State product. You got 2 Penn State guys coming on the same team there, Saquon Barkley and, of course, Johan Dotson. But Dotson's a pretty good player. I'm surprised they gave up on him. I really am. But Washington, you got a new general. You got new everything there. I mean, it's just totally new everything. They're wanting to just put their own stamp on this particular organization. I mean, this guy had 518 yards last year, 49 targets, 4 touchdowns, with guys like Sam Howell throwing him the football. You put a Johan Dotson in there behind the A.J. Brown, behind the Devontae Smith. He's going to get some favorable looks there. That being said, they did get a 3rd rounder for him. I was surprised at what they did, what we're able to get for him. I was a little bit surprised by that. They sent Johan and a 5th round pick to Philadelphia. Philadelphia sends a 3rd round pick and 2 7th round picks. So they're just building depth, and probably tomorrow, I'll go ahead and break down the NFC East. Next week, you're going to have all my divisions, playoffs, Super Bowl winner in the NFL. Okay? I'll start tomorrow. Now, I've got to work Monday. And there was an unexpected working Monday because Monday is Labor Day. But Monday, there will be a show Monday, though. There will be a show. It has been a replay. Will be a show Monday. I'll start breaking down divisions and predicting them in the NFL. We're going to start that tomorrow on Wednesday. And I believe I'm going to go ahead and start with the NFC East. Very high on the Eagles this year. I know they've lost some players there on the both offensive and defensive line. But I've liked what they built depth-wise at the cornerback position. Quite a bit of depth there. They're going to have a really good defensive presence on top of the ball, Jalen Carter. So really like the Eagles. Going to break down this Dallas team. And I tell you what, the Giants moving off players. They moved off Isaiah Hodges. Tells me the Giants are a little bit better than people think. They're a little bit better than people think. The East is going to be interesting. But as of right now, leaning heavily on the Eagles to get it done, to regroup there from last year. Got Rich Ferris coming in here in about 15 minutes, but I did want to talk about Tennessee. We're out of Nashville. The Titans made a big move today, actually. Over the weekend, Chance Campbell tore his ACL, and the team trades with the Rams. Let me get this. I've got so many. Pretty good article about this from Turin Davenport out of here in Nashville. Covers the Titans for the for ESPN. It says Tennessee Titans have acquired Ernest Jones IV in a trade because they were unable to reach a contract extension in the offseason with the linebacker. This guy led the team in tackles. He was second on the team in tackles last year. At one year, he was elected team captain. This is a very good trade for Tennessee, to get a guy of this caliber for a guy that's been injured there. So the Rams will receive a 5th round pick and a 25th round pick for a 2026 6th round pick in Jones. So Tennessee's getting a 26 6th round pick back and Jones for a 5th round pick. Like I said, like this article saying, he saw a trade this week. So I tell you what, now the Titans have had injuries at the linebacker position. It goes on to say, just mentioned Chance Campbell tore his ACL after a good camp. They've had some other players here to be injured. Cedric Gray missed 2 weeks of camp. Otis Reese, Luke Gafford. I mentioned that. That's probably going to be one of their weaker spots there. That's something I'll ask, Rich about. What does he think the weakness in? I figured it probably would be linebacker core. Murray's played well. Kenneth Murray, their free agent acquisition from the Chargers, he's played well. And of course, this guy Jones, this is going to be a great pickup for Tennessee. Hopefully, they can work out something and keep him. 145 tackles and 4.5 sacks. So he's quick off the round. He was a third-round pick from 2021. This is a young guy at 24. You rarely see this. But occasionally, the Rams just do not want to pay linebackers. They have a way of doing things. They rarely want to pay any defensive players. They want to keep them all on rookie contracts. How can I argue with them? They were in the playoffs last year with all that dead money, $70 million in dead money. And then a few years before that, they won the Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. So maybe they're on to something, but, Tennessee has just had a really good offseason here. It's the best I've seen. And, of course, also they traded Malik Willis. That was the big headline there. I thought they were going to have to cut Willis, or maybe keep him as a third quarterback, but he was definitely third on the depth chart. Asked Rich a few weeks ago when camp first started about practices where people were putting out video of him in the open practice and making some big plays. And I was asking, is he actually ahead of a Will Levis or Rudolph? And then Rich rightfully said no. And, of course, now we find out Malik Willis he has gotten better. He has gotten better since when this team drafted him. But he is still a developmental project, probably, in my opinion. Now, of course, I know how are you going to turn down an NFL money, but he probably should be a USFL guy and get more starts, get his work in, try to find an offensive-minded head coach there in that league coming into his second year as the two leagues emerge and play this spring and still be on the depth chart for the Packers. That's what I would do if I'm the Packers. He's backing up there Jordan Love up there in Green Bay. He was traded for a 7th-round pick. But also my take on this is that's another dud by the former general manager. So it looked at John Robertson. So it looks like Amy Adams Strunk made the right call, okay? Malik Willis, 3rd-round pick in 2022, originally possibly looked at as to succeed Ryan Tannehill. That turned out to be a bad move already. That very next year, 23, the team takes Will Levis with new general manager Ran Carthon. And you see he's the guy right now. So that was a dud, a wasted 3rd-round pick overall. And also the day Tennessee has cut former 2021 1st-round pick. And I thought that maybe he was going – I knew this was a deep cornerback room. But Caleb Farley, the 1st-round pick out of Virginia Tech that everybody thought that was going to be great. Another John Robertson going for gusto with an injured player in college, but he had a high upside and a talent. You cannot take that many chances with 1st-round picks. You're going to roll snake eyes more often than not. If he's injured in college, there's a very good chance he's going to stay, especially at that position. Very good chance he's going to stay injured in NFL over 3 years. Farley, the former 1st-round pick, ends up playing 12 games in over 3 seasons. Back injuries, torn ACL, just a total bust of a player there. Very bad pick there by John Robertson. Not to mention, he did reach one time on talent and hit the Powerball, okay? That was Jeffrey Simmons. drafting him when he tore his ACL, preparing for doing some off-season training, preparing for the combine and pro day, tore his ACL. He falls. The Titans draft him. He ends up playing in October. This injury happened, I think, February. So they hit the Powerball with him, but look at how many misses that John Robertson's had. Also, you look at guys like Isaiah Wynn, I want to say, Isaiah Wilson, 2020 draft. Now, he wasn't a big injury guy, but he was a character guy. Just a total bust with Tennessee. Played only 7 snaps. I think he's out of the league right now. Tennessee traded him to the Dolphins, and Dolphins cut him. Not enough homework done on character evaluation there with a Isaiah Wilson. So, and then you compare him to a Rand Carthon. Now, you can say, well, John Robertson, they got to the AFC Championship game. Yeah, that's true. John Robertson, I was right about him at the very beginning. He got off to a really good start. Now, he had high draft picks. I want to say Tennessee had the first overall pick at one point, and he traded that and leveraged it. Got guys like, Derrick Henry and whatnot, Jack Conklin, trading down that pick. Conklin did not re-sign with Tennessee. He later went to Cleveland. He turned out to be injury-prone somewhat himself. But that being said, got overconfident, very cocky at that point. Now, he did find A.J. Brown. He did make the move and brought up, who was it? Tannehill. But, he's just he's a guy that just stays in the casino a little bit too long. That's what he is. And it's caught up with him. Hope the best for the guy. I think he's advising somebody somewhere. I'm sure he'll work his way back up the charts. I did read that he's about, but if you look at a guy like Rand Carthon has done pretty well so far. And if I can find his, bringing in guys like Will Levis, Tajay Spears, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Tyler Boyd, J.C. Latham, Lloyd Cushenberry, and, of course, this 5th-round pick, which I'm going to ask Rich about, but Rich has been high on him since the very start of camp. And that's this cornerback. This guy's second on the depth chart. This Jarvis Brownie Jr. out of Louisville. This guy's he's a 5th-round pick. He's a second behind L'Jarius Sneed, which is, an all-pro that Tennessee traded for out of Kansas City. All right. So he's doing pretty well so far with me. Now let's see what Levis turns out. Levis last week looked great. He looked great. The final dress period, he had 3 possessions there. Got a touchdown. I thought I had his stat sheet here. But he was doing really well. And for that perspective there, this team is a legit playoff team. They are a legit playoff contender. I think they're going to be right. They are what I thought they were so far. Now, I'm going to break every game down within the next week or so, and you're going to get the exact. But they're right there, 9-8, 8-9 type of team there. That a break here, a break there. My only concern is their depth. I'm not sure if they quite got the depth on the defensive side of the ball. Not sure if they got the depth on the you look at some of the guys that are behind the offensive line that's behind Latham, their 1st-round pick, Sonorski, that group. They don't look that good. They didn't look that good in this last game. So that would be my only concern about this team. Other than that, they can compete with anybody, and we're going to find out. We will find out. And the national media has been all over them. Really, other than Rich Eisen, Colin Coward saying, I don't think are that good. I want to say it was either an SI article or it may have been Pro Football Network or both, saying that they could possibly go 2-15 next year. They're not favored in many games. I mean, just really, I'm thinking, geez, this team, I want to say they won 7 games last year, So anyways, not to waste any more time here talking about the Titans, I'll bring on the guy that's been pretty spot on. He's been pretty spot on from the very get-go about the Titans, looking in from a training camp perspective that's flowed over into the preseason games, and that's Rich Ferris from Cumulus Radio. Hey, Rich, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, brother. So I was just harping on this Titans team, and I'm pretty proud. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of their whole off season.
Yeah.
They did everything. When you're talking to your kids, or if you're managing somebody, you really appreciate when they do what you ask them to do. And
Yeah.
me, what I'm asking the audience to do, and asking what the Titans think they should do, they've almost verbatimly did what I've asked them to do. Get an offensive-minded head coach, build up that offensive line, go all out, just about every single thing, man. And I couldn't be more proud. And get a chain of command. General manager be general manager, coach be coach. It seems like they've got a legit chain of command. You can't let Mike Vrabel, he can't be the general manager. That's a disaster. We've seen that in New England. But anyways, big news come out today. They made a trade here. That seems like a great trade here for Ernest Jones, man, from the Rams. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great upgrade there for a position that at the start of camp seemed a little lack thereof, let's just say.
Yeah.
And throughout training camp and throughout the preseason games, they've actually are really deep there at inside linebacker, and you've seen a lot of great things from the people that are there, but then now trading for this all-pro line.
Yeah.
Young, I think he's only 24, 25.
Yeah.
Won a Super Bowl ring with the Rams, is a team captain with the Rams, and only traded and traded a 5th-round pick for him, and also get back a 6th-round pick. So it was a very low cost there on getting him over here. Obviously, there's probably a large contract that's going to be negotiated and done here, but kind of seen that maybe late last week that there was a possibility they were trying to trade him, and kind of knew a little bit that the Titans are somewhat interested just because of his style of play matches the defensive coordinator Denard Wilson's scheme. So they got the deal done today on a massive cut day for the NFL.
Yeah.
Obviously, all teams had to get down to 53 by 4 Eastern, and that being somewhat around lunchtime that came out, or a little bit after, was a little bit of a surprise, but it's just really good to see.
And I'm going to tell the audience, this was not a disappointing player. He just he wanted a long-term deal before the season started, and he's coming up on a contract extension. So this is not a Caleb Farley type of situation, or just a player that you're just trying to dump off.
Yeah.
This is a good player. This is not a 35-year-old player that just got cut. I'm surprised they pulled that off, man. Kudos to Rand Carthon. Now, Malik Willis, you called that. Somebody edited out some may have been his brother to put it out there on the web the other day when he was in training camp. And I asked you, I said, hey, man, he's making some great throws. Is he ahead of Will Levis? You're like, nah, then we saw the games. Malik Willis is still mostly like Malik Willis, although he has improved a little bit.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts? He ends up getting traded for a 7th-round pick to Green Bay. I'm glad they got a pick for him. I thought they may just
Same here. I think it was a good deal for both parties. Malik definitely improved over this offseason, preseason, and looked really good in this last preseason game, minus a couple of things, and really good person, and glad to see that he's able to go to a place that he's the true backup and gets a chance to, extend his career in Green Bay and back up Jordan Love, and also with with that type of offense and everything is, I think, fitting for him. So
yeah,
they got a really good head coach up there that with LaFleur that was here for a year. If if anybody remembers, because that was I think it was Mike Vrabel's first year.
Yeah.
I think it's good on both parties, and kind of happy that he gets a chance to be a number 2 elsewhere.
Yeah. Do you think that I think he needs more work? I would really like to see the NFL set up something with the USFL where he can go play and bring him back up, make it like a minor league system, just to get some more snaps for the young man. Because only if Jordan Love gets hurt, look the way he played last year down the stretch.
Yeah. The Packers were very surprising from the second half of the season, and obviously went in the playoffs, won a playoff game, and they've had some crazy subtractions over the last 2 seasons, but some unique additions with also Josh Jacobs there and getting this off season. So they like to run the ball. I know that their Dylan got put on IR today, so that'll hurt them. But yeah, I mean they've definitely it was impressive last season, and have a bunch of young players on offense there to their young wide receivers really stepped up last year. So interesting to see that entire division in the NFC North. Everybody's I think the Vikings may have stepped back a little, but everybody else has kind of risen up. So going to be fun to watch that division.
I can't wait. And for the record, folks, they will play Tennessee, I think week 3 here in Nashville, right?
Yeah. They'll be here in Nashville at the last week of September, I believe, and kind of looking forward to that home game stretch. Titans got kind of a weird season of where I think they have like one home game in October, and so September is kind of a good stretch of home games.
Yeah, I can't wait. They play the Chicago next Sunday. And did you see L'Jarius Sneed play in the preseason? I don't think he played, did he?
No, I don't. Okay. I don't think he did. He's on a very strict kind of practice schedule. He's doing a lot of work that maybe not necessarily on the field, but they have, and the Titans are, especially this new staff, have a very expanded, not only analytic team, but expanded like health and strength and conditioning team that are really monitoring guys. They have plans for each player, and Sneed's a little bit different than others because they just don't want the wear and tear on him. And it's going to be interesting to see his first game, if there's any step back or having to get a game or two for him to get up to full speed. But he has practice. He's been out there. I just don't believe he was in any preseason games.
Okay, and neither was Simmons. A lot of teams do that now, though. They don't want to play their high-end guys.
Yeah, you don't want to get anybody hurt in a preseason game. I really hope the NFL ends up going down to 2 preseason games.
Yeah.
Maybe adding another regular season game and another bye in the season, which and I think they'll make it almost mandatory to do in those preseason games to have a joint practice like the Seahawks did here. I think they'll make it mandatory for that, just to get a little extra, competition for the lack of the loss of that game. So, and I think they get more out of those type of things anyways than a preseason game. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I believe so. Now, before you left the last time you were on, you broke the news, and that got past me at the last second. Arden Key, 6-game suspension, PEDs. Paul Kaharsi on the ball there with him, but he's won his appeal.
Yeah.
Any insight on that? He's going to be playing.
Yeah, shout out to Jeffrey Simmons who broke that news.
Didn't he?
It's very funny to just see an active player, break some big news like that. But Titans got very lucky in that situation. Don't really know exactly the details of what it was he was suspended for or what supplement it was. Evidently, it's it's thrown out, and they got lucky to have him for those 6 games that they thought he'd be suspended. They never even really came out with anything official about it. So, very kind of just not, no statements or anything were really put out or anything other than what Jeff said. And Coach Callahan kind of confirmed it, but didn't really go into details because it was a league thing. And so, they got fortunate there because I believe, outside linebacker is a very thin spot for them overall. They, had cut day today and, kept a couple of players there, but I still think that they could upgrade a little bit on their depth there. If not this season, definitely next season.
Yeah. Any thoughts on Caleb Farley? Boy, I tell you, I was just before you got on, I said, Amy Adams Strunk, maybe she did make the right call dumping John Roberts. He got crazy at the end. Caleb Farley's officially been cut. We just talked about Malik Willis. That was a 3rd-round pick.
Not very many selections still left. I mean, other than Simmons. Off the top of my head, I mean, there's maybe
Henry's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of maybe 2 or 3 that are still on the team. Molden, I think, it might be the other one that comes to mind. Okay. Monty Hooker, that was also in that same draft as Simmons. Beyond that, I don't know if there's anybody left that John Robertson actually drafted.
Yeah. Well, of course, the receiver there out of what's his face. How's he doing, by the way? Out of Arkansas, our guy here, tall.
Oh, Traylon Burks. Yeah, that's right. Traylon Burks is
Traylon Burks,
part of that notorious trade with A.J. Brown. Going back to Caleb Farley real quick, I think it's just a very unfortunate thing for him. Injuries, a lot of stuff going on in his personal life that wasn't fair to him, and just could never really get on the field enough to really see what he had. And there was times when he did get on the field that just wasn't there. He has all this athletic ability, but continue to get hurt, and so just unfortunate that the Titans had 2 first-round back-to-back picks from 2020 and 2021 that just never panned out. One barely played, the other played I think only 6 or 7 games maybe. So
Wilson.
Yeah, Isaiah Wilson.
I think it was like 7 snaps. The lineman from
he only played like a couple of special team snaps, but Farley played in I think only 6 games Farley, over 4 seasons. So just unfortunate, and right.
But it looks like maybe Pruitt may end up working out. He was a 3rd-round pick in that A.J. Brown. I've been seeing and hearing a lot of good things about him. He's fitting in with Callahan's coaching there, the dad on the offensive line. Pruitt Freed, the right tackle.
Oh, Petit Ferrer. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They had a tight end named folks. I'm sorry.
He was a 3rd-round pick from Ohio State, and I think that offensive line looks dramatically different. Obviously, they're a new center. There's a new left tackle. Peter Skoronski's going to his 2nd year, and watching that Saints game, preseason game, you really got to see how well that offensive line has started to gel and started their new scheme is really helping the players that they have, and good to see Dylan Radins seemingly to be in that starting right guard spot, and Petit Ferrer, and they look dramatically better than they have in the past. So having a Bill Callahan here definitely helps with that. I think the scheme does too.
Are you surprised that Petit Ferrer came back as good as he is from that injury? I didn't think he would be like that, man. I mean, knock on wood, but he looks sharp, man, for a guy that missed all that time with that injury. No? Yeah,
he did have he was out for quite a while, and he seemingly worked really hard in the offseason to when he got put on PUP originally before training camp. Wasn't sure if we were going to see him until the regular season, but worked his way back and pretty much practiced in majority of camp and played in a couple preseason games.
Yeah, and I want to commend you also for you mentioned this this is way back early in camp. Keep an eye out for Jarvis Brownie Jr., 5th-round pick out of Louisville. He's second on the depth chart behind L'Jarius Sneed. Any more thoughts on him?
Yeah, I mean, he's been outstanding. I think he fits right in. He's a Denard Wilson type player that fits right in with the scheme, and has played really well. And I think with Cheeto Awuzie being banged up, I think he'll be back week 1 to start with the Bears. But him playing a lot with the first team and second team, got a lot of good reps. I'm really impressed with him. I'm really impressed with a lot of the draft picks from this year. I mean, pretty much every one of them have stood out in camp. And with him, I'm not surprised that they only have 4 corners on the roster at the moment. They'll probably add somebody there at some point. I would say definitely a backup nickel corner. They could probably add once you see all these cuts and the waiver wire go into effect. But yeah, he's an outside corner, so he'll back up if L'Jarius Sneed goes down or if Cheeto goes down, he'll be that backup outside corner.
Would be a rookie and a 5th-round pick. He must have had a well of a camp.
I think he was great. I mean,
those guys are way down the depth chart,
Yeah, I think the only disappointing pick is Cedric Gray, but that's just because of a shoulder injury that he just hadn't been able to play. And luckily, like I was talking earlier, the inside linebacker position is pretty deep. Now that they've getting Ernest Jones, I mean, they're really deep and probably carry 4 or 5 inside linebackers throughout the season just because they're very deep there. But yeah, the Titans had really good luck with their draft this so far. I think you have a lot of good things for J.C. Latham. He's been pretty good. I mean, there's some stuff that he's going to struggle as any other rookie, but very impressed with Devondre Sweat. Very impressed with James Williams, the linebacker that was a safety at Miami. Very impressed with Jalen Harrell from Michigan, that's an outside linebacker. They've been very lucky to have a pretty good draft class. It looks like so far.
Yeah. Now Hopkins, do you think I keep reading that he's going to play week 1. Do you think he's going to play week 1? Yeah,
I think he'll be ready for week 1 in Chicago. Okay. I think a lot of that was very, very cautionary more than anything. I don't, with his knee, I think he's just needed that rest, and him being a veteran, obviously earning that right to have a little extra time off to get fully healthy. I don't have any doubts with DeAndre this season.
Yeah. So you think this team's going to be pretty healthy come next Sunday?
Yeah, I mean,
any starters, do you?
Yeah, I mean they put a couple guys on IR. That most of them were backups. I think Chance Campbell was one that went on IR towards ACL in the Saints game. He was looking really good as their 3rd or 4th inside linebacker. But he tore his ACL, unfortunately. They had a couple of defensive linemen they've had to put on IR, but no, so far they've been lucky. There weren't any like starters that they've had to put on IR because of preseason or training camp injuries.
Are you surprised by I was? And this is something that I've been saying on this program. Got his picture right here, Will Levis, is now maybe he changes come regular season, that his discipline to check the ball down. He's got a strong arm, got a lot of – now maybe this is a blessing in disguise because of Hopkins being injured, that he don't have 2 big-time wide receivers to throw to. Yeah. But I was essentially pleasantly surprised his ability to check the ball down and not get greedy in the preseason. But my question to you is, when Hopkins comes back, if he comes back and they're playing the Bears, do you think he's going to continue to keep that discipline and use a Spears or a Pollard in the check down?
Well, I think this offense has got a lot of options for him. Yeah. And I think he's done a really good job of develop from his rookie year to now. Okay. The scheme of this offense is very, very pro for the quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of options. Like I said, they're going to run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Interesting enough, they kept 5 tight ends as of right now, which they don't run, but they run a lot of 11 personnel. That's only a one tight end set with the 3 receivers. So it's interesting they kept that many, but yeah, I think there. I mean, and then you have Pollard and Spears. There's just so many good options on that offense. I think the scheme's really good, fits him. He's got the arm talent and is proven that he's adjusting and mentally and making those better decisions. So I think the sky's the limit for him. I think there's a lot to like about his game and being a part of this really pro quarterback offense that's going to pass the ball a lot. I think it's going to be great for him.
Yeah, I was surprised about that too.
And he has good weapons. I mean, like you said, Hopkins. Haven't even mentioned Calvin Ridley yet. You got Tyler Boyd, and then Traylon Burks is has his flashes. Hopefully, he can stay healthy. NWI is their 5th receiver, and he's very solid. Jaquan Jackson, one of their draft picks this year, is very explosive.
They cut Cal Phillips. That's a pretty deep room they got there. Yeah,
their receiver room. I mean, this might be their best wide receiver room that they've ever had. I mean, that's
what I thought.
That's 5 guys that could all start somewhere. Yeah. So Jaquan Jackson is a rookie that's very explosive, and he's going to back up Tyler Boyd as a slot receiver, but also be a very threat in the return game as a punt and kick returner.
Yeah. Was you surprised with the tight end screen? That was very un-Cincinnati like. I love it. It reminded me of the Chiefs. All those tight end screens they were using in the Saints game.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a lot more of that kind of mixed in with this offense. Yeah. I know even head coach Brian Callahan mentioned who does call the plays that he really has a lot of screen game stuff in their playbook. So they executed those against the Saints very flawlessly. I mean, a lot of those tight end screens were big gains and was exciting to watch.
Yeah, and you had linemen running way downfield. I mean that was perfectly executed. They played the Bears in week 1. I've been watching Hard Knocks. I watched the one with the Bears. And I was thinking the other day, I think about this Titans team, and I'm just wondering, part of me thinks that the Bears management's looking down here at Callahan. I know it's just preseason, but they're thinking, I wonder if we should have got that guy. Can you imagine with the talent they had? They got some ballers at receiver, but Tennessee does too. But Moore's right in his prime. I just think they may have gotten gold with this guy. I mean, it's early, but man, he kind of reminds me of a Sean McVay type. This could be something really special here with him. And I think some of these teams that got these defensive-minded head coaches look at that and think, man, this guy's young, but so was McVay,
Yeah, I mean,
the 3-0 first time in over 20 years in a preseason.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact time, but I think it was 03. I mean, and it was 3 very different preseason games, and it was fun to watch them, kind of battle in a more of their third team players in the last preseason game, but to see them battle, come back, have a game-winning field goal, seeing a lot of that grit was really nice. And then this game, seeing a very offensive game against the Saints, even though the Saints did play pretty much all backups. So I think Titans fans can be excited and feel excited. I said going into the season, I still think they're a off season away from being a really, really good team. Yeah. But with the additions they made and a lot of the development I've seen in training camp, it wouldn't surprise me at all if they end up being a wild card team. Okay. Hard to say that they could win the division with Houston being so talented. Yeah. But I think they could definitely, be in the mix for a wild card.
I think so too, man. And you're right. My concern is the depth. Other than that, I don't really have a concern. I mean, it's just I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean
that's good.
If they can stay healthy, I mean, that offense is really stacked, in my opinion. as long as that offensive line can continue to grow and be better. The defense is the surprising thing because that was the one area I was a little worried about.
Okay.
The pass rush and the depth on there, but now with this trade, I mean, you have 7 new defensive players on that starting defense,
Wow.
and majority of them are very talented. I mean, their two corners are, one of them's one of the best in the league. Yeah. You have really good safeties and then we haven't even mentioned Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams
on the depth chart.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of talent to like now on defense. And the way that Denard Wilson runs the defense, I mean, it might not see our outside linebackers, getting the big numbers, but they're going to be doing a lot of blitz from the middle. Jeffrey Simmons should, continue to be one of the best defensive linemen in the league. So I think you could be a little bit more excited now. And not to mention, like I said, the rookie class that they had of guys stepped up, like a James Williams and a Jalen Harrell, 7th round pick guys that honestly look better than some of the backups. And I could see them, getting in some playing time there down the road.
Yeah. Yeah. And I haven't seen an aggressive defensive coordinator since Greg Williams with Tennessee. Greg Williams just hits in the hat, but that was fun to watch. They would give up big plays sometimes, but they also made big plays.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think so? I mean, a lot the previous defenses, they like to bend but don't break. Your Schwartz.
Yeah, they were more of a swarm and smother kind of defense with with the previous defensive coordinator who's now with the Giants, and Mike Vrabel now with the Browns.
Downey or whatever.
Or
whatever.
And so I think you got a very aggressive defense. And I think the best thing is very quickly they got the right guys for this defense. Right. And you're seeing the right guys develop. And so I think it's just a really good mix of that for this first season under new head coach and staff.
Yeah. They just seem like a team that's not going to get just thrown on constantly, not this death by 1,000. They'll give up some big plays every now and then, but it's not going to be death by 1,000 cuts. It's just.
We'll see. I mean, it's like I said, it's so new. It's hard to really predict. So and you got a lot of press man type defense.
Yeah.
What's that?
What do you think about playing? I mean, I give a prediction, but I think people are real high. Is Wade Wilson is. I think he's going to give Caleb Williams a lot of stuff that he can't deal with. A lot of different angles.
And that's the hope, I think, as Titans fans and for the Titans players and staff is you catch, a young, very talented rookie quarterback early, his first, professional game that you can, get over on him because he's a rookie and he hasn't seen, this type of play, so that's the hope. But the Bears have added a lot of talent just like the Titans have this offseason. They had a really good defense last year and only added to it. Obviously, they got some receivers now that are
defense out there last year. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, DJ Moore's a great receiver. They added a receiver from the Chargers. I can't think of his Keenan Allen, and then they drafted so it's they could be very impressive. You just kind of hope for the Titans that they catch that team early and can get out of there with a win and come home, play a couple of home games.
Yeah, I think so too, man. All right, so you, Big Tan and Rich, love your graphics, by the way. Love the graphic. You are the man with them graphics, brother.
Well, that's. I mean, I can't take credit. That's something that Seth and AI do, and we just put in and it generates it, and it's kind of fun, and we go with it. So, it's cool.
So you record on Wednesday.
Yep.
What are y'all talking about? Labor Day stories?
No, but that could be a good one. I mean, but yeah, I think we'll probably talk a little football and whatever else just comes up. Haven't really thought a whole lot about it, to be honest. Probably start putting together a little bit of a list before the show tomorrow. And, yeah, go check us out. Be out on all the podcast platforms around 9 o'clock Central Time. So, yeah, give us a check. Check us out. Give us a listen.
Yeah, they're all over the place, man. Well, I appreciate you coming by. And, yeah, anytime, just let me know you want to come on. If you wanted to come on after week 1, after they go up there and knock out them Bears.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right, everybody. Appreciate you, Rich. I'm running behind on my time, buddy.
I got you.
Have a good night, man. See ya. So, folks, I will be back tomorrow. Same place, same time. I'm going to be doing the NFC East tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to break down the NFC East and make some predictions. I may do another division by this time next week. Well, what's today? Tuesday. No, by next week you will have all my NFL predictions in, and going to give you a Super Bowl winner and everything. So, anyways, if you like the show, folks, share the show. Thank you, Chad, for checking in with us. I will see you tomorrow. Otherwise, same time, same place here on the Real Sports Scope.